Welcome back to our channel, where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today we bring you some news. Meghan in shock after Dubai's Sheikh rejects her and tells her to stay away from Dubai. For the first time in modern history, a person who had formerly been at the heart of the British monarchy was not allowed to visit another country. The Emirate of Dubai's reluctance to let Meghan Markle marry Prince Harry was not just a bureaucratic decision, it was a geopolitical one that was made with scary precision. This one event has shown how much a global brand has fallen, and it raises a dreadful question. If the wealthiest places in the world are suddenly closing their doors, where else can people go to escape? Meghan Markle became a worldwide outcast during a royal Cold War. This is the narrative of the Gulf rejection. It was quick and nasty when it eventually came. Meghan Markle arrived at the border of Dubai, a city built on two things: enormous wealth and a well-kept image. She arrived expecting to be treated with the same respect that renowned people get all across the globe. She was the Duchess of Sussex, a title she still holds, a Netflix producer, and a voice that had the entire world listening from Oprah Winfrey's garden. Her arrival in the nation of gold-plated skyscrapers and flawless buildings was not easy. Instead, she was met by the cold, unfeeling machinery of state security. People that were there said that things were becoming more and more confusing. There was no arrest, and the difference is intellectual in character. They took her into prison, separated her from her group, and questioned her for a long time in a chamber that was both impregnable and nameless. Some people who knew what happened say that the episode was quite humiliating. It was a clear and public rejection that broke the illusion of Hollywood power and regal majesty. At the end of the day, the message was given with kindness, but also with an unyielding firmness. She was not welcome. She was told to leave. In this example, an administrative problem did not happen by chance. On that day, one of the most powerful and image-conscious city-states in the world made a strategic decision and drew a red line in the sand. It is now a new and perilous chapter in Sussex's narrative, one in which the effects of burning bridges have finally caught up with them, and the world has begun to burn them back. The shockwaves that came from that decision are now rippling all throughout the world. Why the Emiratis turned down the offer? A kingdom of mirrors. To understand why the city of Dubai said no, you first need to understand Dubai itself. The Emirate is not only a territory, it is a brand that has been carefully built. It is a global hub for banking, luxury, and power that thrives on stability, secrecy, and most crucially, a good name. For decades and hundreds of billions of dollars, the Al Maktoum family has turned a desert outpost into a safe place for the world's richest individuals. They have done this by establishing a simple, unwritten rule: do not bring your anarchy to our borders. When Emirati officials looked into Meghan Markle's case, they saw a lady who was at the center of a global crisis and a comet's tail of controversy. The Emirati authorities would have done a forensic-level analysis. The United Kingdom and the United Arab Emirates have had close ties for many decades. This is the most crucial and first thing. This is not just a friendship, it is a strategic alliance with a lot of business deals, intricate military links, and common diplomatic goals. These connections are what hold everything together. The royal families of the Gulf area do not only find the British monarchy interesting, they see it as a sister institution and a cornerstone of the existing international order that they value and employ. A political expert who works in the Gulf region and wanted to remain anonymous, gave a clear explanation of the calculation. To welcome Meghan Markle, especially in a high-profile role, would be seen as directly supporting her feud with the House of Windsor. The people in London would see it as a sign that Dubai is picking a side. What would make them give up 100 years of working together with a future king for a few weeks of headlines with a famous person who is known for being controversial? I think it is a diplomatic dead end. In this conversation, she is like a diplomatic grenade. Still, the Emirati appraisal went much beyond normal geopolitics. It looked at how people recognize patterns. Rejection, or summa, is not a fleeting concept managed by publicists in the Middle East. It is the fundamental currency and the basis of trust and honor. The authorities would have seen a worrying trend. The royal family was made aware of the explosive accusations of racism that were made against them during the Oprah interview. These claims were never proved to be accurate, but they hurt the monarchy's reputation across the globe a lot. There had been a lot of personnel turnover in the past, and suddenly former workers on two separate continents started complaining about bullying that was ongoing and hurtful. There were reports of creative differences and unmet expectations that caused successful business relationships to end, including Spotify and other initiatives. Meghan was the one name that kept the same through every argument, every failed project, and every public fight. This profile is a perfect example of a reputational risk for a culture that values loyalty, discretion, and harmony in institutions. Several analysts believe that the officials of the United Arab Emirates would have realized that her appearance would have caused a media frenzy, which could have been used as a platform for future attacks on the British monarchy. Not only were they stopping a controversy from growing when they refused to provide a visa, but they were also protecting their own brand. They decided that Meghan Spencer's next play would not take place in the City of Gold. The Saudi shockwave, a decision that will hurt everyone's reputation. Dubai's refusal seemed like a smack in the face, and Saudi Arabia's response felt like a knockout punch. Sources close to Meghan's team said that they immediately put their backup plan into action after the embarrassing incident in the United Arab Emirates. It was not a last-minute panicked attempt. It was a well-thought-out backup plan. For many weeks, her team had been having private, high-level talks with important persons in the Saudi royal court. These talks had been going on in a diplomatic environment. The objective was not only to get in, it was also to create a safe place that would endure for a long time. They wanted a life of luxury and privacy, one that would keep them safe from the Western media's prying eyes, thanks to one of the most powerful and secretive governments in the world. This idea was brave and risky. In this case, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex would live in a protected place where the Saudi government would be fully responsible for their safety and privacy. It must have felt like the best solution to Meghan's calculations. Saudi Arabia has the resources and the ability to govern its own environment to an extent that Monteceto has never been able to and never will be able to. But she completely misunderstood the situation. The Saudi royal family, often known as the House of Saud, thinks that they are the protectors of old traditions and an important player in the global power structure. Like their Emirati counterparts, they have a deep and unchanging respect for the monarchy. Reports say that the denial came right away, was definite, and did not allow for any compromise. Saudi decision-makers looked closely at her public history and the ongoing problems with the British royal family. They decided that she posed what one high-ranking official called an unacceptable reputational risk. In the secret language of international diplomacy, this means that she would be killed. In other words, it means that we will not let your problems become our problems since they are toxic. A private note that has subsequently been leaked via diplomatic channels and sums up the main reason for her international isolation was purportedly sent. But the worst review was supposedly sent in a private message. An insider said that the response that was received back was, "We respect royalties." This information was given out with the promise of total anonymity. That one sentence was the final straw, and it was delivered with ice-cold accuracy. "We do not host people who do not respect theirs," the phrase read. It was a statement that Meghan's form of fame, which came from the public breaking of her royal links, did not mean anything in the one place in the world where royalty is still viewed as the most essential thing. The Saudis, on the other hand, did not regard her as a progressive reformer or a victim of an outdated system. Instead, they saw her as someone who had violated a sacred promise. From their point of view, she had done the worst thing possible. She had used her royal status to condemn the same institution that had given her the chance to do so. It was not only bad PR for the House of Saud, it was also a matter of principle. The Prince's Gambit is about William's supposed warning shot over the desert. Because these denials were all planned out, a lot of people have wondered whether this was just a coincidence or if there were other things going on. A London-based specialist with strong ties to diplomatic and intelligence networks says that the problem is far more intricate than anyone imagined. Some others say that a heads-up was given out to a number of prominent Gulf nations in a low-key and casual way. The heads-up told people about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's travel and living plans. This was not an official request from the British government. Instead, it was something more subtle and in some ways more effective. A warning passed between friends, a secret exchange of information through the murky back channels that connect the world's intelligence agencies with royal courts. Also, others think that Prince William, who will one day be king, was the one who gave the go-light for this planned release of information. People who know the Prince of Wales say that he has been both personally grieved and quite angry over what his sister-in-law has done. People have said that Charles has called her a master manipulator in private, a narcissist whose sole plan is to create drama so that she may be the focus of attention in the news cycle, no matter what harm it may do to his family or the crown. William and his family's conflict is no longer just a family matter. It is now a matter of national security and protecting institutions. He is not just a brother, but he is also the heir to a monarchy that has been around for 1,000 years. His main job is to protect it. His supposed conduct was not just petty revenge. It was a planned move in the art of statecraft, because it was a planned move. It is reported that William's team made sure that Saudi Arabian and UAE officials could see the complete and unedited picture when they launched their investigations. A full report of facts was given, including the detailed results of the Buckingham Palace bullying investigation, which were said to be damning even though they were never made public. A timeline of public statements that did not match up, and an analysis of how the Sussexes' various media projects hurt the monarchy's reputation. The Saudis and Emiratis came to the most rational conclusion because of their perfect record. This shows that William's attitude toward the matter has changed a lot. For many years, he stuck to the royal saying, "Never complain, never explain." He handled the public criticism in stride. But just now, that serenity has been broken. It seems like he has decided that the quiet strategy did not work, and that Meghan poses a threat to the stability of the monarchy. Therefore, he has to defend it more strongly. He cannot simply reply anymore. Now he has to guess what she is going to do and check it out on the world stage. The Cold War between the Waleses and the Sussexes has reached a new, far more violent phase. This method is a sneaky, nasty, and very effective way to show that this phase has started. The Monteceto catastrophe has caused problems with the California dream. While the drama of universal rejection was playing out on a global stage, some said that the Sussexes' lives in the United States were breaking apart. The huge Monteceto estate, which used to be a symbol of their financial freedom and independence from the monarchy, is now a gilded prison. A lot of people have said that the couple had to leave the house, but they have not spoken anything about these reports. There is still a lot of confusion over what caused this. Some news outlets say it was because they could not afford the high costs of upkeep and security, while others say it was probably because they were having trouble with their mortgage. No matter what the specific cause is, the outcome is always the same: a humiliating retreat. People think that they are now living in a temporary residence that is less fancy and that their way of life has changed a lot. They are beginning to experience the sting of the financial reality of their existence after being regal. The two used to be free to harness the UK's tremendous resources, but now they had to deal with the severe business demands that come with being famous. Their main sources of revenue have gone down. After making just one season of a podcast, the deal with Spotify, which was said to be worth $20 million, was canceled. Their deal with Netflix, although successful, has led to the creation of content that critics have called self-serving and score-settling, rather than a creative project that can last over time. It is becoming evident that the financial safety net they thought their royal status and connections in Hollywood would provide them is in a bad state of repair. This money problem makes things much worse, on top of the mental stress. The Monteceto dream was built on the idea that they could do better, have more power, and be richer outside of the royal family than they were within it. That idea is currently being looked at so closely that it cannot be changed. The reduction is not only a financial necessity, it is also a sign that the huge experiment to build a rival royal court in California is failing. People who know what is going on say that the tension is becoming worse and that it is beginning to show the problems that are hidden in their partnership. Harry's tragedy of regret begins with a prince who is alone. People who know Prince Harry well are starting to see him as a person who is lost at sea. He is now stuck in the middle of this growing problem. Several people inside the group have suggested that Harry has been slowly pulling away from Meghan's strategic circle. This is because he is tired of the protracted conflict and the scorched earth approach to public relations. His pals say that he is eating himself up with guilt that is growing in quiet. Reports say that Charles is sad and tired, and he has told a small circle of close friends that he misses the stability, structure, and feeling of purpose that comes with being a working royal. His family in the UK has been suspicious of him every time he has tried to reach out to them, even though he has tried hard to fix things with them. So far, it has been hard for him to rebuild the bridges that he and Meghan so publicly broke. With each new attack and argument that comes out, it is harder and harder to go back to any kind of royal life. He cannot get away. He threw up his birthright, family, country, and the respect of the armed services, all of which he held in such high regard while serving in the military, for a life in California that did not live up to its promises of peace and purpose. What exactly did he gain? He was permanently cut off from his father and sibling because of a podcast that was only accessible for a short time, a documentary that was heavily criticized, and a book that told everything. Royal historians say that his predicament is a perfect illustration of tragedy. It looks like he is slowly coming to terms with the terrible things that have happened because of the choices he has made. When he left the institution, he did not find freedom. He discovered a new kind of captivity made up of money worries, public scrutiny, and horrible loneliness. He is beginning to understand this. Even yet, he has to follow the rules of the person who made this new life. Meghan, on the other hand, cannot afford to go back in time. Her whole public persona is now tied to the story of being a victim and fighting against an unfair system. At this point, saying he lost would be the same as agreeing with every critic, which would be the same as saying that his family and friends' warnings were right all along. Some people say that her pride will never let her give in like that. She keeps going, dragging a prince who does not want to go with her and is becoming more and more unhappy with the situation, even though the ground is cracking under their feet. A realm ruled by monarchs, where the currency of reputation is the persona non grata. Meghan has become a worldwide liability as a result of the denials she received from Dubai and Saudi Arabia, which have not just restricted her travel possibilities. This is a significant advance in time. It has been verified by diplomatic sources that her name is now being effectively emphasized in as many Gulf government systems as is feasible. This is not a signal of illegal activity. Rather, it is a flag of repute. The letter is an internal advice letter that instructs the authorities to act with utmost caution. In addition, it is a moniker that indicates that she is a person who is prone to erratic behavior and who carries with her a reign of unfavorable news and diplomatic issues. It is important to take notice of the severe irony that is associated with this recent event. For a considerable amount of time, Meghan has constructed her brand on the basis of the notion that members of the royal family and a hostile press want to malign her. However, the reality of the matter is that her own record of deeds and statements has caused governments in other nations to come to the conclusion that she is too hazardous to deal with on their own. The news never fails to mention her. Always present in her life is the drama. All of the disagreements include her in some way or another. To put it simply, she is the one who is the common element. As a consequence of this, she is considered to be radioactive in a region of the globe that places the utmost importance on stability, regulated communications, and full privacy. With the reputational flagging that has taken place, it is very difficult to put a stop to it. Because of this, it will be a part of a record that will last forever, and people will remember it about her even when she is working in boardrooms or traveling to other countries. When you have a conversation with Meghan Markle, there is a significant risk that you will get embroiled in the next public dispute that she has. All of the major corporations and governments throughout the globe get a powerful message as a result of this. The whole globe is keeping a close eye on the situation, and the choice is growing more and more certain. As an illustration of how to methodically destroy one's own image, the lady who had the intention of launching a worldwide humanitarian brand has instead become an unfortunate example. The novel, The Unraveling, is a narrative that recounts the events that led to the destruction of bridges. According to the sources, Meghan's squad is becoming more frantic as the walls continue to close in on them continuously. It is possible that she might be able to operate with less notice if she worked in less well-known regions, such as smaller nations with more permissive regulatory policies regarding the media. According to a rumor, they are now investigating the possibilities of carrying out this action. Nevertheless, this does not get to the core of what it is that she desires. Simple privacy was never something that Meghan Markle desired. If she had, she would have been able to find it many years ago. She is the kind of person who cannot get enough of prominence, power, and position. The most powerful individuals in the world are the ones she wants to sit with at the table. Not only were Dubai and Saudi Arabia desirable locations to reside, but they also served as status symbols that demonstrated that she continued to be a prominent participant on the international arena. Their denial does not have any impact on her aspirations to become a star of the A-list. Rather, it is only a symbolic execution of her goals. According to sources, she has been making an attempt to contact with old friends and allies, individuals with whom she has not talked in years, in order to seek for assistance and to make an effort to reconnect with them. This, according to many sources, demonstrates how desperate she is. The response to this predicament has been a resounding lack of communication. The majority of them are not picking up when she calls them. Before, she had a lot of goodwill, but now she has used it all up. One of the most difficult lessons that they have all learned is that being near to Meghan may often result in physical harm during her subsequent public altercation. Those who fall under this category include A-list celebrities, corporate leaders, and former partners. Nobody wants to be the next person to openly endorse Hillary Clinton, only to be attacked in a future interview or book. No one wants to experience it. The individual in question does not want to be that person either. There are a number of individuals who are no longer her pals, and they might have been of assistance to her in dealing with this issue. One of the most difficult lessons that she is now learning is one that has been taught to those in positions of authority since the beginning of time. You cannot demand loyalty from individuals to whom you have not shown loyalty. It is not a smart idea to construct a future on the foundation of resentment. The failure was not the result of an external conspiracy, but rather the strategy itself, which resulted in a self-imposed policy that prioritized conflict over collaboration and drama over diplomacy. In the moment when it rejected her, the world did not intend to do her any harm. The only thing that she is doing is, like she has always done, reacting to the manner in which she has behaved for a considerable amount of time. The outcomes shed light on the fact that acts have repercussions. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.